Behind me are burned out tanks sent by Vladimir Putin in his doomed attempt to seize Kiev. Since Russia's full-scale invasion in February of 2022, the war in Ukraine has changed dramatically. It's a war for the sky and a contest dominated by drones, where life expectancy for a soldier above ground is measured no longer in hours, but in minutes. And one other compelling and terrible fact, this war in Ukraine has been going on for longer than the First World War. Since Donald Trump returned to the White House, Russia has dramatically stepped up its bombing of Kiev and other Ukrainian cities, sometimes sending as many as 1,000 drones and ballistic missiles a night. The major problem that Ukraine has is it lacks Patriot anti-aircraft missiles, which can shoot down ballistic rockets, and is trying to get more of them from its Western partners.
We're going to give a license to you to make Patriots. That's pretty cool, right?
At the same time, Ukraine really spectacularly in the last couple of years has become a drone superpower, and it's been carrying out a series of very effective strikes deep into Russia. Ukraine is making a big attempt to turn Crimea, which Russia has occupied since 2014, into a kind of island. There have been a series of strikes on lorries and tankers driving in occupied southern Ukraine on their way to Crimea on what now has been nicknamed the Highway of Death. The situation is becoming increasingly embarrassing for the Kremlin and is bringing home the cost of Russia's war to ordinary Russian citizens. Russia is still advancing in the east of Ukraine, more slowly than before, and at enormous human cost. We're talking about more than 1 million Russian soldiers killed and injured since the start of the full-scale invasion. And there's intense fighting going on in the Donbass region. Now, Vladimir Putin insists that he is winning the war, that Russian victory is inevitable, and that sooner or later his forces will prevail. And what's been interesting is we've seen peace negotiations involving the Trump administration over the last couple of years.
I think we're getting much closer than people realize. President Putin wants it to end. I will tell you that very strongly. A good call. And President Zelenskyy actually wants it to end now.
But Putin's maximalist demands have not changed. He wants to seize more Ukrainian territory, to get rid of the pro-Western government of Volodymyr Zelenskyy, and really, in essence, to make Ukraine disappear. My sense is that Ukraine has regained the strategic initiative for the first time since the autumn of 2022. It's really been smashing up Russia's oil industry on an enormous scale and creating a big domestic political crisis for Vladimir Putin. And I think what Kiev has found in recent months is what you might call a theory of victory, or a kind of clear concept of how it might win, and that is to flatten Russia's economy so it's no longer in a position to attack. Does that mean that Putin will stop? I don't think so. Putin, whenever he's in a tight corner, always chooses to escalate. And if you cast your mind back to Volodymyr Zelenskyy's famous or infamous meeting with Donald Trump a year and a half ago in the White House, where Trump said,
You don't have the cards.
what Zelenskyy has proved is that he has cards.
Thank you, Mr. President. Look, very strong.